Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, the award-winning gardening podcast as voted for by the Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and by my listeners. I hope that you have all clicked that subscribe button. If you're new to the podcast channel, please do click the subscribe button and then you get notified of all the new podcasts that get launched. And if you're not following me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, make sure you look for Gardening with Ben and follow me on all my social medias. So sit back, relax, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's gardening podcast with Ben. Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben for a brand new episode. So thanks for joining us today. The last 2 days we've been talking about all the seeds and all the jobs what need doing in the garden and what you can plant, and it's still in June. So if you've not checked out those episodes, go back and check them out and have a listen to them and you'll find out lots of tips and advice for this month. So we're back to talking about what we have been up to. Well, as I'm recording this, we have been busy on the allotment for the last few days. I'm currently off shift, so I'm back on nights on Saturday night, so we've got a few days down at the allotment, and this week has been mainly concentrating on the worst job of them all, which is weeding. Lots and lots of weeding to be done, but it has to be done, and if you're wanting great produce and fantastic crops, you need to keep on top of the weeds, because you don't want the nutrients and the food and the water going to the weeds away from the vegetables. So the more weed free you can keep it, the bigger the vegetables will grow. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of that recently, and I've been recording podcasts for my other podcast channel, which is Garden and Allotment Tips Podcast. If you've not checked out that one yet, it's in the description of this podcast. So we've been doing that, and today I actually went for a nice walk up to Sheffield Botanical Gardens. If you're from Sheffield, you'll obviously know where it is and have probably been before, but if you're not from Sheffield, it's not far away from where I live, possibly about 40 minutes walk. It's a very long walk, but we got there and we managed to have a good look around. It wasn't that nice of afternoon, it kept trying to rain and drizzle and everything, but we managed to have a good look around. And they've got these glass houses what they restored quite a few years back and got them back open and for viewing to the public. And the best thing about Sheffield Botanical Gardens is that they're completely free to visit and free to look around. Obviously they do accept donations towards the continual work towards what they're doing, but they are free to go and visit. And wow, they look absolutely amazing at the moment. It wasn't very busy because, like I said, it was not a fantastic day today, so there wasn't many people there, and I went while people were at work, so not a lot of people were around. But we managed to go around and have a look around in the glass houses, see what's growing. It's probably the first time I've been in the glass houses, to be honest, and they're very interesting. Lots of different exotic plants growing from different parts of the country and the world, what you can have a look at. I streamed it live on Facebook, so if you want to go and have a look at that, it's on my Facebook page, Gardening with Ben. Just have a look and you'll be able to have a look around the Sheffield Botanical Gardens. And there was a lot of squirrels around. Obviously people don't like squirrels, and the friends of Botanical Garden don't like squirrels, and they don't encourage you to feed them, but I do like to give them a cheeky few little nuts to eat on and give to them, because they are all tame there. Everybody feeds them there, and I don't see them as being an issue, to be honest. Obviously they're against them at the Botanical Gardens, but I can't see them doing much of a problem if they're kept under control. But obviously they don't encourage it and they don't want people feeding them, but it's a bit of an attraction. It attracts people there, so definitely. So yeah, we've been there today, and tomorrow I'm going to start looking at possibly getting some more seeds in some areas of the plot, because there is quite a few gaps in some of my beds where some stuff hasn't grown, some stuff's been eaten, or some stuff I've still not planted yet. And obviously a lot of the stuff what I started growing in seed trays and stuff like that. So some of them dried out and stuff like that. I didn't keep them watered properly like you do. You start loads of seed trays off, but you don't manage to keep up with all the watering. So some of them dry out and die. So we're going to be planting some stuff straight in the ground. And obviously stuff like you can plant your radishes straight in the ground, you can plant your beetroot straight in the ground, you can plant your carrots straight in the ground at this time of year, and mixed salad leaves. There's plenty of stuff what can still be sown at this time of year. And like I said in yesterday's podcast, you can still plant, now is the time to plant turnips. So if you want to try growing some turnips, get those in the ground now. So we're going to be starting off quite a few seeds going forward in some beds and hopefully get them growing. And while the warm weather is around, it will hopefully get them germinating pretty much fast. And over the next few weeks, obviously you'll be starting to harvest like your potatoes, your onions that you've been growing and stuff like that. So more and more spaces will become available for you to be planting stuff. So start some off in rows on the plot in a bed, and as you're starting to harvest stuff like your lettuce and your potatoes and onions and stuff like that, you can be planting new stuff there as you're transplanting them and spacing them out, etc, etc. But just start them off in rows straight in the ground. Obviously you don't need to be starting stuff off in seed trays now in the greenhouse, because it is plenty warm enough outside and the soil is plenty warm enough to be going on with, and you can get stuff like that doing. And I need to be looking at getting my plum tree pruned. That is one job at the top of my list. I'll do a podcast about pruning plum trees, so stay tuned for that. That'll probably be on my other podcast channel, because my other podcast channel we just talk about designated articles, like we'll just talk about sweet corn, or we'll just talk about strawberries, or we'll talk about apple trees, stuff like that. So each podcast is a designated item, so please do check out that podcast. I know I've got a lot of listeners on this podcast. Possibly we've got about 500 followers on Spotify alone, but my other podcast doesn't have as many followers, so please do go out and check that one out. It's called Garden and Allotment Tips Podcast, and it's obviously me speaking, and we're still talking about different topics and stuff like that, so it's along the same lines. So have a listen to that one and let me know what you think. Also, if you've got any other stuff that you want me to talk about in these podcasts, please do send me a direct message on Instagram and let me know what you'd like me to talk about, because sometimes I do struggle for topics, hence the reason why we don't always do podcasts. So it's good to hear what other people want me to talk about and to share with you all. So please do get in touch, and we'll hopefully get some more and more podcasts going, because I want to do this full time. This would be perfect. It'd be ideal. I would so love to do a podcast every single day for you and talk about a different topic for you to share. And over July, my main project, I've not really got many projects for June, but my main project for July is I'm going to build an alpine garden. That is my task for July, and I've got the area what I'm going to be doing it in. There's a few weeds growing back in it, but it won't take long to get it out. I've dug it all over and stuff like that. There's no glass around it. It's in my new area up at the top of my plot, and I want to get some black membrane down, I want to get some wood chip down, and I want to get a load of alpine plants and stuff to plant through it all, so that it all looks fantastic. And it's quite a shaded area, so I'm looking at doing that. And if anybody wants to help towards it, you can now give me Facebook stars on my videos, and all that will be going towards building this alpine garden, so you can say you've done your little bit in helping towards it. So if you're wanting to help, send some Facebook stars on my Facebook videos and you will be able to support getting that done, because I've priced it up at around, I think it'll be about £70 to get it all done. So if anyone wants to support me, and thank you for those that have given me some Facebook stars already. I think I've got 600 stars already, so thank you for that. It's quite a new feature to my Facebook page, so thank you for everybody that does support me and get stuff from me as well. like t-shirts and jumpers and stuff like that. It all does support me, and it all goes back into the allotment to produce you all content at the end of the day. So thank you very much for the support you have given me. So yeah, that has been our podcast for today. Hopefully tomorrow there'll be another podcast talking about what I've been up to today. And yeah, make sure you listen to my other podcast on my other podcast channel, what will go live today as well. So check out Garden and Allotment Tips podcast for another podcast for you to listen to. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben. I had to think of what it was then. I should be used to saying it by now. So have a great day, everybody, and we will see you all later. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to today's Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do click that subscribe button, and feel free to share it as well on your Instagram stories. All you have to do if you're listening on Spotify is click the share button, and you can share it straight to your Instagram story for all your followers to listen to, and help build my listeners up as well and get more people listening to it. Feel free to check out all my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Go check it out. Check out my dancing. Gardening with Ben. And check out the link as well in the description of this podcast, where you can check out my gardening t-shirt shop, where I sell funny t-shirts with all different funny logos and designs on. And feel free to support me by purchasing one, and all the money obviously goes back into my allotment, where I can share more gardening tips with you all. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcast.